Hey everyone, John here, senior software engineer with 10 years of experience. I'm the lead maintainer of Latterly.io, an educational community that will help you land your first or next programming role. And today we are working on Aria's Tale and reviewing the performance improvements from Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Aria's Tale is a generative AI gaming experience. And if you've been following along in development, we've been contributing to Pyodide. So some good news, the libhtml linking fix that is attributable to the issue I filed has been merged, but a release has not been cut. So that fix is not usable. So the Python implementation of the game is on pause. So we then resume the JavaScript TypeScript alternative, which is the Phaser 3 game. Okay. Phaser 3, the knowledge cutoff is included in Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So we can use Claude 3.5 Sonnet to develop with Phaser. And I thought this is a really great use case. Let's give it a test run and see how it does. Notably, Claude 3.5 Sonnet beat GPT-4o on coding, on the human eval. So 92% zero shot versus 90.2% zero shot. There has also been notable usability improvements beyond the model itself. So first of all, I'm a fan of Anthropic, a fan of Opus, a fan of Sonnet. But one of the things that I feel I'm missing when I go and use that tool is the code compiler, GPT-4's code compiler. Now, on the right hand here, it's not quite a code compiler, but there's this really cool code preview widget. Anthropic has this concept called artifacts. So it basically knows that it's coding now, even though it doesn't execute anything. It does give this like nice special experience, which I found really useful. And I can easily grab the copy here. And it will separately have editorial on the left, talking through the changes and the reasoning. And then it will just have the literal code on the right, which is really, really nice. And I'll demo the game. TLDR, it worked, and we're able to build our first Aria's Tale game. And so I'll be able to demo that. And in this live stream, I'm hopefully also shipping it. So it currently works on local, famous programmer meme. It works on my local, but it is failing to build and deploy on Vercel. So in terms of what are we actually building, in addition to the demo, I would like to ideally fix the build and then push it up to main. And by the end of the day, there will be a button up here which says something like game or Coliseum, and you'll be able to click over and go play the Phaser game. Does that make sense? That's the preview. If that makes sense, tap like, smash subscribe, drop a comment. Thank you for being here. Slater says, getting my CS degree, this is harder than I thought. It's tough. It's not easy. Good news is, even if you fail out of the degree or switch out of the major, you can still code. You can become a programmer with a business degree. So depending on the school you're at, depending on the program, the job may be easier than your educational experience. I don't really like the way it's taught in university. And if you go over to Latterly.io, if you sign up, you can join the community for free and chat. The checklist is project-based, team-based, social learning, social emotional learning, project-based learning, a lot of tools that we know that work from a pedagogy perspective, the way that you teach people, but they're not exercised in the university, ironically. So if you have a poor experience at uni, don't let that deter you from programming. That would be my take there. Okay, cool. Let's drop into this thing. So here is the Phaser Coliseum game, and it's kind of thrown together. I just did this on a whim. I didn't create a proper feature branch or a proper GitHub issue, although there is a GitHub issue, I think, something about Phaser in here. It says very long-term. Apparently, it's not very long-term. So here I can say closes number 69. Nice. And you can see the red X's along the right because it's failing to build in Vercel. Let me give you the local demo. npm run dev. I'll give you the local demo, and then we can step into like build fixing, which is what I was kind of working on. Yeah. So this is part of the build problem, but it'll work in dev server anyway. It's like type issues. So the dev server will basically overlook type issues. Now up here, there's nothing in the nav bar, right? So we manually go to /phaser. And I wouldn't like to do that. I would like to have a proper button, and I don't want it to be the phaser page. I want it to be named after the feature, not after the tech. So I want to change the route, add a button. We'll do those things. All right, but this is the basic UI, and it's really goofy. For some reason, my phaser class is generating 2 canvas instances. If you have any insight, let me know. But anyway, drop a name if you have a preferred character name. I'll call this our character, and we will be a warrior. Okay. That didn't work for some reason. What's going on? Player not created before starting the game. That's okay. I think I need to Command Z a few times. All right, let me just comment that block. It was fixing an issue, but it didn't fix an issue. Cool. Refresh the page. It's a little bit slow, so it's not pre-rendered like the rest of the site is. And that's intentional. That's intentional. So here's the Coliseum scene. Scene is the entity vernacular of phaser. Command-Shift-F, Command-V, and I can see that I have an ordinary Next.js page here that is importing the Coliseum scene. It's doing a dynamic import. It's doing a dynamic import. Because if I try to pre-render it, I was getting errors. Maybe in the future there's a way to pre-render it. That would be cool. But basically, it's about 70 lines here, and we export a page. It's a Next.js page, but it's doing this SSR disabled dynamic loading thing, which is a bit unusual compared to the rest of the site. You can see up here, next/dynamic. Thank you for the follow. So there is a lag. Would love to fix it. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe I need to lazy load some logic. I have it all basically crammed into one scene. Let's try this again. We will be our character V2. Enter. Please select a class. Great. Warrior. Submit. Cannot read properties of undefined. Ooh, that's not good. Oh, this is going to be in the scene, right? So basically, I want to roll back my start game code, is what it seems like. Here, I'll right-click this, close others. Let me just Command Z a few times. No, let's try and fix it. Let's try and fix it. So this was working, and what was the issue? There was an issue where in one case we call start game with arguments, in another case we call start game with no arguments. Here's show message. That's rolling really far back. That's rolling really far back. Let me not roll that far back. All right, so let's go over here to my chat with Claude, and let's tell it about this issue. You're out of messages until 9 p.m. I think we're past 9. Cool. Start a new chat. Let's continue this chat. We recommend starting a new one to keep Claude's response fast and relevant. We'll start a new one after this issue is fixed. CS degree good for making money? Question mark. Better than trucking? Yeah, it's definitely better than trucking. Absolutely. Okay. Here, maybe I just didn't quite copy all the code over. Show message. Start game. Previous implementation of start game did include arguments, but in this version, confirm character is creating the player before calling start game. Let's update the method to reflect these changes. So the confirm character method, you see it calls start game without arguments. So Claude's solution was, all right, let's remove the arguments and have a validation like this. And the problem we are seeing is that at the actual start of the game, this causes a problem. This causes a problem. So let's make sure that I copied everything over. First of all, here's the character creation UI. Oh, this is version 12 of 13. Let me make sure I'm looking at version 13. So here's create game UI. Command click over here. I'll collapse it, enter over it to remove it, Command S. That's interesting. It didn't remove the extra. Yeah, so prettier is lagging. Oh, looks like I have some lag. I guess I'm doing a lot of work on my little laptop here. Get the latest version of start game. And I'm looking at the git diff. Elliot says, I love prettier. Me too, me too. Here I'm looking at the git diff. Just remove my to-do. That's all that it did. All right, and I even put this to-do. So I ran out of Claude messages, and that was the impetus to work on the build myself. But now I have some more Claude messages, so we'll pick up and solve this to-do. Okay, so I want to tell Claude that there are two problems. Process name submission is still expecting those arguments to be there. That's one problem. And the other problem is that I want my error to be visible to the user, not logged to the console. Let's make two changes. One, let the error be visible to the user, not exclusive to the console. Two, still expects to call start game with arguments. And then three, let me reproduce this one more time. It was giving me that error, wasn't it? So here's localhost. All right, we can close this one, leave that one, close this one. Refresh this page. Say I'm Bill Nye. Bill Nye is definitely a mage, right? Bill Nye is definitely a mage. Yeah. When I initially submit my character, I'm running into that error unexpectedly. So let's make three changes. And you can see here, I'm pretty deep into the code. This is a long chat we've had back and forth. And when I first was chatting with the tool, it was more responsive. Here it's printing out the answer quite quickly. That's nice. But it did take a bit of time to generate that answer, didn't it? You good? What do you use to host? Vesper, AWS, or bare metal? Vercel is the answer. We're hosting on Vercel. Okay, and then it has these these are the artifacts. You can sort of like click in and it will take you to that code revision. It'll jump the right hand. So here's the latest version. Let's update process name submission to call confirm character. Okay, so I'm Command F and I'll click up to go to the last entry. Here it is. So let's grab this function and I'm going to swap out my existing function. Really, there are 3 of these. There are 4 of these I'd like to swap out. Player name submission, confirm character, create player. Is it called create player? Player name submission, confirm character, create player, and start game. I'll leave it to that just so I don't forget. Process name submission. Okay, we'll wipe this. Player name, create player. We're going to wipe this. Create, not create game, not create enemy. Create player, yep. Confirm character, we're going to wipe this. And start game. So we're going to replace these methods. Process name submission, confirm, create, and start. Here it says, optionally, you might want to reset the scene or return to character creation. I don't want to do that automatically, but I would like a button that allows you to start over. So I'll say to do restart game button. Create game UI and show message are the final 2. This is going to generate a diff noise that is a bit more than I'd like because the methods are out of their originally defined order. Destroyed is another thing I'll have to fix. Here, this is a 600-line file, which is larger than I would say commercially preferable. It's like a small game, so I don't care. But that is one of the reasons that Sonnet is giving me sort of fragments, is because it's just large. It's just large. Earlier on in the development, when I did a thinner slice, it was just printing the whole file and I could swap it in and look at the git diff. Okay, so this seems good. Let's test it. Banana will be an archer. We'll submit that. Okay, so this is what the actual game looks like. So you can see, here's my archer. The enemy also has the same picture just because I have one picture. In the future, you could easily have enemies having like different images. But I just put in the same picture. This is a character called Idolin, if you're familiar with the narrative. Idolin is an elven rogue from Aria's Arc. And yeah, you basically have a few moves. You can attack, defend, run, or use an item. I don't have any items. You don't have any items. If you run, so this is a common F enemy, which is like the lowest class, weakest enemy. So, and that's randomly generated, gacha style, the gacha game mechanic. So it's not as if like you always start facing the weakest enemy. So I'm not going to run, but basically if I run into like a really strong character, I'll just run. Defend doesn't do much today. It cuts the damage you receive in half. But there's not really a purpose in doing that today. In the future, if you're alerted to an incoming large attack, that could make sense. If you see that the enemy character is buffed and it's a temporary buff, it might make sense to defend for a while. If you see like a charge up move where, you know, they're going to wind up and do an extra move next time. All right. So basically you just want to spam attack, get lucky, and occasionally run or use an item. That's basically what we have to go with right now. It's not a really in-depth game. So you see you attack the enemy for 10, they counter for 7. So I'm just going to attack until I win. Cool, I got one. And now it's a common E. It's pretty weak as well. So I'll fight that one. Here's a common C. And you see I got to level up. I got to level up and my health was restored to full. Now I have a magic scroll. Let me use that item. Boom, 40 damage or 30 damage. That's great. Beat this person, and I'm accumulating victories and experience points and gold. Gold you currently cannot spend. That's like an easy improvement to add an occasional shop. We can also add occasional random events and stuff. You can easily extend this thing. Boom, got another win. Here's an uncommon double A rated enemy. I have a score of 500 points. So the score is calculated off of your victories, but weighted by the rarity of the opponent you kill. And so you could have two characters that each have 5 victories, but one might have a score of 400, the other might have a score of 800. And yeah, I'm cooked. We can try and run away. All right, cool, common F, but even a common F is going to break me at this point. Awesome. And so game over, and there's a leaderboard. There's a leaderboard feature. It's only in memory. It's not saved to database, but you can see this easily being saved to the database. Now I have a restart game button. Okay, great. So we can call that restart game. And here, let's say stronger person. Okay, so stronger person is going to be an archer. Got a common B. We'll run away from the uncommon. We'll take a common F. Got to level up, common E. Okay. Do we want to fight the uncommon? Not really. Let's run away. This uncommon person is hurting me as I try to run away. All right, so we got one other kill in, and then we lose. So, oh yeah, and there's a fun bug. When you lose, there's a timeout, and the leaderboard is not locked. So you can spam the button and get like 20 entries on the leaderboard. If you spam the button in that, I don't know, 500 millisecond period before the view shifts, which is hilarious. So this is not commercially ready. You know, this is just like a thrown together thing, but it has some cool features, right? You have attack, defend, items, different items do different things, random monsters, experience, level ups, leaderboard. There's like a decent start here, right? For something that was thrown together in a day. So I'm super stoked with it, particularly because I'm not a game developer. I'm a web developer mainly. And so me being able to do this with a tool Phaser that I'm not super familiar with, and Sonnet doing a really great job of guiding that. Okay, so let's stage this. And what did we do here? We fixed the console error showing up inappropriately. Command F, start game. Now it says throw new error. Okay, I guess that will show to the user, huh? Fix inappropriate console error. I'll push that. A couple other things I want to do here. One, there was a to-do somewhere. Yeah, restart game button. Restart button. I'll use this .add. And I'll get rid of some of these. Sonnet made a bunch of variables that are like unused variables. I guess it's not comfortable doing void expressions, so it will assign to a variable even if that's not needed. Maybe I should explicitly tell it not to do that. All right, so let's try to get to, this is going to be an error. Yeah, how do we get to this error? That's an interesting question. That is a ton of red. Why is it mad everywhere? Oh, because I had an extra brace, of course. All right, so here we're adding a restart game button. Congrats on getting an offer. Thank you so much. What kind of game are you making? This is like a Coliseum style RPG. So if you've ever played any of these old Colosseum style RPGs, the idea is you have a character, they can level up, they fight people, but there's not really like a world map or anything like that. You just kind of like battle, and then you might have items, you might have like a store where you can occasionally buy things. And you're trying to like, in a lot of these games, you're trying to like beat some boss or something. In this game, it's more so just like get the biggest score that you can. So that's the idea right now. I'm definitely going to change it in the future, but that was the idea I had for like a simple game to implement along the lines of a TCG or an RPG or a gacha game, which is the domain of Aria's Tale. So Aria's Tale is a generative AI augmented role-playing experience. So coercing that into a browser-based single player as opposed to the normal way to play it, and I can go into the normal way to play it, but it's like a social game. So you play it with like other players, kind of like D&D, but instead of having one person who's the game master, you use like a language tool like Claude or GPT or something. So that's the normal way that you play Aria's Tale. But I want to make kind of like a solo player version. And so that's been what's been going on lately with the phaser work, and also the Pyodide Python Pygame work, is trying to get some sort of a slice on that. And today we have it. Dub in the chat. Today we have it. Base classes. You could just extend this union and have like 50 classes. Isn't that mind-blowing? Charn Barn. Crazy username. Charn Barn says, I just graduated with a comp sci degree, but I can't seem to get any callbacks after my resume. Any advice? Yeah, you came to the right place, bro. You came to the right place. You're not going to get callbacks just applying with your resume. You need to really change your mental model. So go over to the blog, laterally.io, link is in the bio. At least 10 networking tips. Read this article. It will change your life. You came to the right place with that question. You can also join the Discord, community tab, join the Discord. If I don't get to your question during the stream, you can hop over there and ask away. Thanks for being here, and thank you for the follow. Okay, so what do we want to do now? I want to get the build working. I also want to hopefully confirm that this error button works. What am I going to like generate an error? I guess I have to generate an error to prove that it works. So what is this? This is the start game experience. Let's just always throw an error. Let's just always throw an error when you try to start a game. Boom. Please enter a name. Boom. Please select a class. Okay. Boom. And we threw an error. Cannot read properties of null reading cut. Message text, message timer. Message text, message timer. That's kind of weird. Website, question mark, laterally.io. The link is in the bio, laterally.io. So show message errored. That's funny. So we caught the error and then, excuse me. So we caught the error, but then we errored showing the error. Yes. It's giving real bug. Well, I'm glad we did a test. Did I change so message? Let me just write that down just to make sure. What's the best site to apply to programming jobs? Ada, question mark. Ada's great. Don't just use Ada. Again, I'll point you right back to laterally.io. Go to the blog. And there are leveraging job boards to land your next programming role. Article 4. And there are 8 of these. Or there are 9 of these. There are 9 of these, including Ada. Good question. Mike, thank you for the follow. Okay, let's try it one more time. I don't think the set message method changed, but let's just confirm that. Oh, we kind of did change it. That basically works, although it's really garbled over here. Wait, why did it do it the second time? Oh, it's because of this delayed call thing. So I bet if I wait 3 seconds, we're good. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, I really hate that delayed call pattern. So let me tell it what I did. I can just change the offset on my restart game. So set origin, let's do, is it XY? Let's do 40, 0. Maybe I can fix the issue myself. 1, 2, 3. And now, now it's way up there. Restart game. Okay, so we got rid of the overlap thing. That's good. Show message, I would like it to be able to take an offset. Yeah. Let's change show method to accept an args object that has coordinate offsets. The current offsets should be default values. So passing the object is optional. Also, is there any way to avoid the delayed call pattern? It opens the window to lots of bugs during the time before processing completes. For example, I can spam click the attack button even after my character is dead, and many leaderboard entries will show. Is there anything else I want to get to now? Let's go ahead and mention the delayed thing or the destroyed thing. This is going to come up, so let's do it. Finally, cool. Certainly, let's address all these points. I love the way it talks, right? It's like it speaks really kindly. So here I'll stage what we have. Let's restore this. That was just for testing purpose. Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay, so we're adding guards everywhere. I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense. Do message options, game state, cool. Up at the top. Click Command A left. And I'll just drop these after my existing interfaces. These could be all moved to their own files if you wanted to make this file smaller. I think there's an argument that like if you can get the whole game into one file, that does a nice job of contextualizing a model, because models today, language models, are not good at like scanning directories. And so that's the reason that I tolerate this, or even kind of like this, which is contrary to the normal way that you structure software, right? Normally you would like to have your modules over there and so forth. So we did this. Now we have game state, which is going to be a private thing. I'll add this property to my class. So here's this private thing, game state. That makes loads of sense. Now, I might be abusing Phaser. I'm not sure. Phaser might intend different scenes for this different game state purpose. In fact, let's just ask. Am I abusing Phaser by creating enum game state? Please compare the alternative option of defining additional scenes and make a recommendation. Isn't necessarily abusing Phaser, but using multiple scenes might be more idiomatic. Recommendation using multiple scenes. Cool. Cool. And yeah, we really start to build a case that these should be separate files now, don't we? Oh, is this the whole scene? Okay. I thought the comment, you see how it says like other game config? I thought that these comments would have like a bunch of other stuff. But if that's the whole scene, that's actually like super simple. And so we can have this in the same file still. So here's a battle scene. Cool. Game over scene. Like, where are the actions taking place? So the actions are still going to be defined on the game class. Feels like that shouldn't be how it is. Feels like the battle scene should have like the battle buttons. Let's ask about that. Shouldn't the battle scene, is that what it's called? Battle scene. And you can see we can easily extend this to have like an overworld map scene. And this makes your game more scalable, basically. Again, then the trade-off is like now I really can't fit it in one file to go over to GPT. So hopefully whatever scene I ship over to GPT is relatively well self-encapsulated, so that if I have like an overworld map scene, whatever you do, you like chat with people, chat with NPCs. That would be something you do on the overworld map you probably don't do in a battle. And so hopefully it could be self-contained. I have a feeling there's going to be common utilities, but if you're copying over 2 files to contextualize Anthropic, I think that's acceptable. I haven't tried it, but I'm going to guess that that's acceptable. Yeah, this is Sonnet 3.5, the new one. You should try out JetBrains and WebStorm. Oh yeah, I've definitely used them. No, VS Code all day. I mean, if your company, if everyone uses WebStorm, fine, I'll use it. But if it's up to me, VS Code all day. Shouldn't the battle scene include attack, defend, and so on? Let me say the logic for attack, defend, and so on. So now like a bunch of those properties are coming over here, we can see. Any advice for comp sci students in uni? Social network. Don't undervalue social networking. Do not just hang out in your dorm for 4 years. Oh, learn in public, yo. Learn in public, dude. Like make a TikTok, post about your studies, grow an audience. By the time you graduate, you're going to have a audience of like tech interested people that are going to be ready to hire you because they know you. You're going to have warm leads for 4 years. That's awesome. Learn in public and make a GitHub as soon as possible. I don't care if you push a README change. Get one of those green squares up there. It demarcates the beginning of your experience. And so you can say, you can graduate and you can say, look, I already have 3 years of experience. Obviously, you should smash like, subscribe, and join laterally.io as well. A link is in the bio. Okay, so here we have a battle scene. Let's go back and grab these. So we're going to grab all these. We have the game, and we have these other scenes. Okay, so I'm grabbing all of these. Coliseum scene will now be called game. Okay, so game. Oh no, it doesn't extend scene, it extends game. Cool, so how many of these are we gonna have? 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. It looks like 4. Educate me, please. Is this JavaScript? Basically, yes. It's TypeScript, but TypeScript is just JavaScript with types. Let's say write out the full game class. Should the Next.js page import the game? Or should Next.js continue to import a scene? I think it's Python. No, it's JavaScript and TypeScript. No. Using classes does not make it C++. This is not C++. Okay, so here's the game component. Command-C, Command-T, page, phaser, index. So I'm still calling it phaser over here. So here we export default game, phaser component. All right. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. This will be cool if this works. So I'll wipe my prior implementation and use this. Coliseum RPG. That presumes that I have this Coliseum RPG thing. Oh no, it just named it. Okay, so let me copy this whole page. It's mad about the import. Yes, I need to step back and grab, phaser game component. Hey.
But why the old setup?
What do you mean? Oh, here?
Come on, John.
I just wanted to get my laptop on a charger.
Oh.
I was sitting on the couch using the laptop.
I thought you were streaming.
I'm streaming right now. You want to say hi?
Hi, friends.
Why not on the new setup?
Because I was building the game on my laptop and I didn't want to like change.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. The game was working, dude. I'm going to show it to you. After I wrap up my stream, I'm going to show it to you.
All right.
My record is level 3. I don't think I've ever gotten to level 4.
What?
Yeah, it might be a little bit too difficult right now. Are you self-taught? Yeah, so I have a little over 10 years of experience, but back in the day, I did not get a computer science degree. I taught myself. Okay, so this is the page. No, this is not the page. This is wrapped. Export default function phaser game. I think it might have fallen out of the context window. Claude might have forgotten that I want to use a page wrapper. This is so weird. What is this version 8 over here? Okay, that looks super weird. I'm going to use the artifacts instead. And now it says version 2 of 2. Okay. I think there's 2 versions of phaser scene management example. I think that's what's going on. What site is that? This is Claude.ai. Recently released Sonnet 3.5 model. That's awesome. Big fan. So this is going to be the battle scene. Let me just copy over the battle scene so I don't lose it. Currently, we have the Colosseum scene, which is the entire game. And now I'm going to rename the folder Oh, I misspelled Colosseum, eh? How do you spell Colosseum? Is there one L? Colosseum. Thought there's, okay, there is. Kind of thought there was 2 L's for some reason. Whatever. We'll rename the folder Colosseum. Okay. And then we will make battle scene.ts and paste that. So here's battle scene. Character creation scene, game over scene, leaderboard scene remain the same. But I don't know what those scenes look like either. $200 lines, I think it makes sense to break out. I'll have these other ones. If these are all small, these can all go in a game. So this is not Colosseum game. This is not scene. It's Colosseum game now. Colosseum game.ts. Okay. And now I am going to ask Claude to write out the whole thing. Now, battle scene.ts is a sibling of, did I call it Colosseum game? Colosseum game.ts. Provide, all other scenes live with the game. And it feels bad when I say it out loud. Let me make sure they're small. If they're small, I can really justify it. So here's the phaser game component. Phase scene management example. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm grabbing all of these. I guess I'm grabbing this whole file. Here's Colosseum game command AVS. Other game config. This is what I need to figure out. What do they mean, other game config? So I asked it to write out the full thing, and it did. Here's the full phaser game class. So I'm copying this. Yeah, see, it does have all the scenes split out. All right, it's the right thing to do. Let's do it. Let's do it. Boo. So there's a relative folder called scenes. Okay. Battle scene goes over there. Battle scene.ts. Coliseum. Scenes, battle scene. Wonder why it's not finding that. That's weird. Okay, yeah, some sort of caching thing. Now it found it. I think I have like a lag thing going on locally. Thanks for the follow. Thoughts on TS? I love TS. It's missing an X coordinate over here. Okay. So this is sort of an outdated one, basically. Full phaser game class. This one is good. This is still using the scene, so this is kind of outdated. Okay, so this seems like the new one, right? Where we're getting the game and putting it into a page. This seems like the new one. So let me grab this. And I changed the directory to Colosseum. I really should have picked an easier to spell thing, shouldn't I have? Colossseum. That is what it is. Oh, because it's called Colosseum RPG. We're going to call it Colosseum Game. I don't want it to be necessarily an RPG. Pretty much it's going to be, but whatever. TCG elements, gotcha elements, all of the above. Cool. The command click is working, so the resolution is working. So it does seem that Claude is aware of multiple files, which is really cool. I'm not going to send that. I want something more substantive before I spend my prompt. So I'm going to go look. Here's the RPG. I don't really know what's going on over here. I think this is like outdated. scene management example, and we step back and we have these old ones. So I'm going to go get these. Boom. And make these. So now I have like game over scene. I'll export default class. And it just says character creation UI logic. See, that's what I don't like. So now I'll say write out each of the full scene classes, e.g. let me know if I should make a utils file or other construct with shared logic. Restart TS server in the command palette. That usually works for me when I have caching issues like that. Yeah, there's a few things you can do. You can also command click into node modules, but that stuff usually doesn't work if there's lag. You just have to wait for the lag to resolve. But thanks for the tip anyway. So here's the battle scene. We already have a different one for that. Here's a game over scene. That's where we are currently. Game over scene, following the same casing. Great. Then we need a leaderboard scene. And I guess that's it. Leaderboard scene.ts. Chat, let me know about what is one more scene that I should build. What do you think? Should I have an overworld? Should I have an overworld scene? Should I have some other sort of scene, like a dungeon scene? I'm itching for another scene. Maybe I have a fishing scene. When he's done fighting for the day, he can randomly go fishing sometimes. A tavern scene. What about like inventory? An inventory scene? Yeah. I'm with it. So then the character would have different equip slots. We'll have the character having different equip slots. Okay. Yeah. +1 in the chat for inventory. Or if we get a different idea, let's get 2 votes on whatever we do. So we have someone saying, what about an inventory scene? That could totally make sense for sure. Here's the leaderboard scene. I'll just copy this. I'm partial to retaining the large language model comments, unless they're just really low value, but I want to think about consumption of the file from the model perspective rather than from a developer perspective. So if there's other information that I have because I'm familiar with a remote file, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. This is an example of a truly low value comment. Like you can tell that just from the slice 10. But somewhere over here, that could be useful context if I'm in a new language model thread and I want to repaste this fresh and it hasn't been all contextualized with all the prior context that the current session has. I also want to tell it, like, let's avoid assigning void expressions. All right, I don't have any plus or minus on anything, so we'll go for inventory. Let's avoid assigning void expressions to unused variables like this. What are you coding? It's a game for ariastale.com. It's going to be available on the browser soon. Let's also add an inventory scene where a character can equip Weapon, armor. Let's do like weapon, gloves, helm, boots, necklace. Characters will need to be modified to support this. Let's also add loot drops to opponents and a 5% chance of encountering a store where players can spend gold. Cool. Does this actually work? It does. We're between stable commits, but when we finish up this, I'll show it working. And then we'll probably wrap the stream for the day. Cool, we have a new inventory scene. Let's go. And a store scene, 2 for the price of 1. Oh, look at this. It has common and uncommon loot. It just did that without me asking. That's dope. Berto.
Yeah.
Common and uncommon loot.
Oh, nice.
Why no rare loot? That's random. Claude's response was limited because we hit the max length. Bummer, bummer. So here's a types TS. I want to see how these are imported. So /types. So it is a sibling of the scene. So types then will be inside of the scene folder. As I guess the utils also will, eh? Here's types. As also will the utils be. Okay, so here's store scene in its entirety. Is this TypeScript like Ember or React? Yeah, it's the same TypeScript that you would use in React. This is, so Aria's Tale RPG is a React application. It's a Next.js application. In 2024, if you want to create a new React app, the recommended way in the React docs is to use create next app. So they're virtually synonymous these days. Let's go ahead and stage some stuff. So I have utils and types. And I'll unstage Coliseum scene. I think it makes sense to commit utils and types by themselves. Thanks. Very, very welcome. Thanks for being here. Great question. Rebecca, thank you for the follow. Bob says, what do you need help with? Oh, I love the question. Thank you so much, Bob. Yeah, why don't you join the Discord and we'll see where the stable commit for this evening lands. And there's definitely going to be room to improve in the future. One thing that I won't be doing today is any sort of battle animations or like any sort of animations. So if you want to do anything to do with animation, you could do that. Also, saving to the database is not implemented. So you refresh your screen, your game state is lost. So if you want to help with that. Yeah, I think those would be the main two things that you could help with. Thanks for asking. Also, just play testing. If you just want to play test, hey, I found a bug over here kind of thing. That would be great. Right, so here we're augmenting the battle scene through the creation step. And then it says previous methods remain the same. Not entirely sure what that refers to. Here I'll close others. Through the creation step, Command V. Here's initialize player. Cool. And then we come down and we handle victory. Handle victory. This feels really out of date. Let me go back a step. Yeah, so here's the whole one, and we can use that as the reference. The first thing and what your issue is. Oh, I'm not dealing with an issue. I'm implementing new features, right? So I'm like adding a store. It's not like there was like an issue with the store. It's just it wasn't built. Does that make sense? Ari, welcome in on YouTube. For coding, are you seeing significant difference between this model and other releases? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It is much better. At least in TypeScript. I haven't tried it in Python. But in TypeScript, it is much better. Push details to a local DB, question mark. Yeah, at some point. I don't think I want to do that today. Here's the player sprite. Generate enemy config. I'm not seeing a sprite on the enemy config. Oh, here's the sprite. So it just says this.enemy, this.enemy. And the enemy has a sprite. So a few questions. One, given that we have this other thing. Oh, it did like a weird formatting thing. That was weird. I think that was good for the battle scene. Whoa, scrolling way down. Utils is good. Store scene. How's the store scene looking? Apparently, TikTok thinks you need my help or you wouldn't keep showing up. That- that's a weird thing to say. Why is that? Why do you not think TikTok thinks that you should be watching me? Okay, so this is looking good. This is minor, but I guess it's worth mentioning. There's a little type issue on generate loot. A few questions, comments. All I hear are mouse clicks. Are you okay? All right, let's look at the game over scene. Here's the game over scene. Okay. Let's feed update a few scenes. Get the updated character creation scene. Looking great. Oh, if you're on TikTok, if you go to the link in my bio and you head over to YouTube or Twitch, you'll be able to see the full screen. Oh, I should have asked it to finish the leaderboard scene. Are you face cam on Twitch? Oh yeah, actually I am. I don't know if that's a pro or a con, but it's over there. What's up? Welcome back.
What are we doing?
All our feet.
Are you in? I'm the one that shoot my feet wet. I just wore 8-inch heels for an hour. See, that's why I'm on the couch. Because I did a hard style for you.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but it sounds so kind of. Did you hit the floor? You kicked the foot.
An 8-inch heel.
Yes, it's fun.
This does not make any sense. If we went to that one all around looking at, we probably would see
This equipment slot definitely needs to be allowed to be empty.
Well, I don't know. One of the girls in my studio gets paid to go to Miami like every weekend.
Oh no, it really can't.
She's
The
dancing.
item type.
Like his concert, he has pole dancers like in the background. She was one. you get that?
Okay, yeah. We'll definitely say
Yeah, watch me. I'll be the back of this.
if item type, push it.
That's too much. And they are closer. We're not sure we're gonna figure it out, but we got home and dropped the street. I have no idea.
Let's see where the game's at now. Coliseum game is not a constructor. Okay, yeah.
Don't tell John. I didn't want to have that. Oh no. Oh, the first one I was like intrigued. The second one I was like, y'all went too far.
The third?
Yeah.
No, this is the fourth one.
We're not caught up.
No, this is the fourth.
Are they resting? Yeah, I don't know. We've watched season one.
Suma Cage, did I say that right? Welcome from Twitch. Good to see you here.
Yeah, season four.
Told you.
Okay, so maybe season 3 was the one that was completely.
Season 3 was the one. Wait, which one?
Where he was having coke and he was inside some dude's penis when he was small and blew up. Yeah, that's
And then at the end, he found something, right?
you find out that the little kid is whatever Captain America is.
Superman.
Is he Superman?
Knockoff.
Interview with a vampire.
Let's make sure all these are working. Export class.
That used to be a horror movie.
Okay, because it's not exported as default is the issue.
But it looks old. Look at it.
You know, well,
That's okay.
I know, that's why I got confused.
All right, that's looking good. Coliseum game. Let's stage that.
I was happy because I don't know, I didn't know Audrey. Like either her stuff would be like super cheap or it's like not. But this was cheap because we went to Amazon. So I was like, okay.
Character creation scene. Let's look at that. This is great. I love how it keeps the files organized. So start game. This is just the start game method specifically. Okay. Hi, what are you coding? ariastale.com. We're making a web game, and I hope to demo it, and then we'll wrap the stream. Player here. So here's the start game method. I'll wipe this. Cool, we got rid of that type issue. Oh no, this says cannot find equipment. Let's see. Great.
Why is he mad now?
no.
Ari says, I think you mentioned earlier this version of Claude was going between different files. I don't know if it goes between different files, but it seems to. Here. You see when I click this back button, I have this list of artifacts. Yeah, maybe you could say it goes between different files. Yeah, I think that's fine to say. Lynette, I haven't played a web game since I had a gateway with the cow as my screensaver. That's fire, Lynette. That's fire. I want a screensaver like that.
My mom's all by herself. Because my dad's in Texas for work. And my sister-in-law.
Generate store items as being a little bit silly over here.
No way.
cannot find utils.
This week she has a big test for being certified for work.
That VS Code caching, being silly. So the build probably still won't work because of this type issue over here, but we've made a ton of progress, so I'm kind of okay with that. Let's make sure that this works. Phaser index. Yeah, that's working.
She grew up in what was it? It was called beginning with an R. There was her closest neighbor was like 6 miles. They lived on a lot of land, and she only had.
Thank you for the likes. Are you just using TypeScript and React? Yes, plus a framework called Phaser.
John, come rub my feet.
Yeah, it's mad about that store thing. All right, so I'll take the build fix offline. Let's just see if this is working. Colosseum. Is that how you spell that? Could not be found. Colosseum. Oh, I guess it's still on the Phaser page, huh? All right, let's change it. Okay, Colosseum game is not a constructor.
John, are you gonna watch stream with us?
Yeah, if you want to hang out 10 or 15 minutes. If you want to wait.
The new one I'll we ended up having 3 people in the class.
Oh.
April 1st?
Very cool. Thank you very much. It's also open source, so you can check out ariastale.com. And you're welcome to throw a pull request up. There's the GitHub right there. Phaser typically instantiated with the new keyword imported this way. Okay. No problem on my side. So we will not use the new keyword. Okie doke. Phaser game components. Okay. So we'll make a function over there. ColosseumGame.ts. Missed the X0. Inventory scene. Oh yeah, I totally missed that. Inventory scene.ts.
He's the shortest one.
He is. He's the shortest and the oldest. And as they get younger, they get taller.
Heyo, we compiled. Okay.
So he's like almost a whole foot taller.
Claude, question mark. I've been screaming at ChatGPT and Gemini. I need to go check out Claude to help with my JS. Yeah, I think it's good to have a few tools in the belt. Inventory scene is over there. Export class, cool.
Much more chill now. I had no chill. None. I can hear your voice in my head. Bro, calm down. Christina, stop. I still do that. If I'm like super bored and I have energy. Pretty sure I had stress. I also do it with my kids. You wanna try that? It's fun. Or I'll do Star Games.
It's funny with me. Like, y'all have no choices. Like, what's third grade?
For sure, Ron. Okay, what am I looking at? This is a web game development. And it's just a little RPG in the browser we're working on. The YouTube stream is saved, by the way. So if you want to, I'll be wrapping up in the next 10 minutes. Hopefully I get this working again. But if I don't, it was previously working. You can rewind the stream 45 minutes before we started adding new features. And that'll be all on YouTube. Oh, so I'm behind the scenes. Exactly. Do you work full time? I'm on the job search right now. Thanks for the follow. Ari says you did a cool shortcut where you were able to insert brackets around a word. How did you do that? You just double click the word and hit the bracket, and VS Code will automatically place the other bracket. Ooh, if this works, this is way cleaner. Okay. Phaser game component. This is the game component. Okay.
And you're still all there.
Is that going to work?
That was like my mom's, or is like my mom's game. My mom is the only one that doesn't live within my
Now this needs to be a TSX file, which is okay.
And then when I moved here, and my mom was like sad.
No way. I've been doing it a long time, adding one at a time. Yeah, no way.
Oh yeah.
Is this like the backbone of a game? Kind of. Kind of. Yeah, you can think about it that way. All right, let's see what we got. Chat, let me know the character name, chat. Can you just use Copilot instead of switching back and forth? No. So the new model is the new model. This does not exist in Copilot. Copilot does something like this, but this is the new Sonnet. Theoretically, it's better than Copilot. Theoretically. I don't think they did a head-to-head test, though. But you get all these features, too. This is not in Copilot. Chat, let me know the character name. Ari says, it would be cool to see what you use in Insect, maybe a future video. Yeah, maybe. Thanks for the stream. Hey, you're welcome. Are you heading out? I got about 5 more minutes. Let's say Ninja Bro, who's a warrior. Whoa, okay. So this is busted. Let's attack. Why is the image not loaded? Let's go to the battle scene. At least it's compiling, so let's stage that. Fix game compiles. Well, it compiles for the dev server. X is going to be 0. Okay, we go to the battle scene. How does it know to start? Like where to start? Oh, because they're in order. Yeah, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. So here somewhere it should say that the battle is next. Got it. Scene start. That's super intuitive. Yeah, the more see, I'm learning about phaser by developing, which is one of my favorite ways to learn.
There's the battlegrounds.
Bill Nye, the magic guy. Okay. You don't use the inspect tool to debug. Not on the canvas, no.
She had her garden.
That's all the same the whole time. I never
No,
thought.
her
Oh, we got a store. Let's go. The store's working. I got 50 gold. I'm finna get a weapon, gang.
and I want to get complimented on it.
Let's go to battle. Am I even using my weapon? When I use an item, now the enemy attacks me. I've been defeated. How about the leaderboard? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you use the bread as your.
Big winning boy. Hey, I don't have the dual canvas issue anymore somehow magically. Not really sure how. I do have all kinds of new issues though. That's dope. Why class components instead of functions? That is just because that is the phaser convention. That's not like I have a preference. Not King Arthur. So I lost a bunch of features in terms of like my heads up display over here. All right, well, I'm going to go off stream, restore those, and then get the build fixing and push it. But yeah, so this is somewhat you can look forward to. The picture is going to be fixed. You can rewind the stream like an hour and see what it was looking like. But now we have a store. What is the other thing? We had a store and an inventory. How do I see my inventory? I guess I have no way to access my inventory. I should definitely add that, right? So I guess from the store page, you can access your inventory will do. That'll make sense.